Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're diving right into Module 3, Marketing in the Digital Age. And look, we're undertaking a massive shift today in how we think about the online world. We're moving away from that kind of frantic, tactical, day-to-day posting mindset, and we're elevating our view to a true strategic, managerial perspective. If digital marketing ever feels like just a chaotic scramble for clicks to you, well, the frameworks we're going to explore today are going to bring you some immense clarity. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a three-act journey today. First, we'll look at the big picture with the digital ecosystem. Second, we'll talk two-way conversations and influencers. And third, we'll zoom right in for decoding the digital consumer.
So Act 1, the digital ecosystem. Before we even touch a keyboard, we really need to ask ourselves, which customers are we actually trying to reach, and how do these tools support our bigger business goals? To answer that, we have to look at the digital marketing ecosystem. By definition, this is the connected set of digital tools and platforms that support customer engagement across their entire journey. It moves way, way beyond just simple online promotion. Digital marketing isn't just a random list of apps sitting on your phone. It's actually a highly cohesive ecosystem where tools feed directly into one another to guide the customer step by step. It's like a giant puzzle where every piece has a specific job. And this illustrates exactly how that ecosystem functions in practice. Notice how different tools serve entirely different strategic purposes. I mean, you definitely don't use search engines for the same reason you use a CRM system, right? Search engines, they're all about capturing intent and giving you visibility when someone is actively out there looking for a solution. Email marketing, on the other hand, is your absolute engine for retention and personalization. Then you've got CRM systems managing customer data for segmentation and service, while your analytics dashboards are sitting there tracking performance so you can actually make evidence-based decisions. Every single tool has its own specific job in moving the customer forward. All right, moving on to Act 2, conversations, influencers, and content. Now that we have our ecosystem built, how do we actually speak to our audiences? Well, the absolute biggest paradigm shift is right here. Think about traditional advertising. It was always about broadcasting a message from the organization down to the audience. Total one-way street. But social media, that is fundamentally a two-way conversation. It allows audiences to respond, to participate, to share, and yeah, absolutely, to critique. What this means is that social media is not just a promotional channel anymore. It is a relationship-building platform. You're building communities here, not just blindly buying ad space. So the crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote. Consumers often trust people, communities, and peer-like voices more than direct brand advertising. This right here is exactly why influencer and content marketing have completely exploded in importance. In an environment where people are, frankly, pretty skeptical of corporate broadcasts, a trusted voice cuts right through the noise. Now, what's really fascinating here is what's noticeably absent from this list. Take a close look at these selection criteria. Do you see follower count listed anywhere? Nope. From a strategic perspective, follower count is definitely not the top priority. What really matters is audience fit. Are they reaching your exact target market? You also need to look at credibility, engagement quality, content style, brand safety, and performance potential. Actually, a micro-influencer with, say, 20,000 highly engaged followers in a really specific niche community, that is mathematically and strategically way more valuable than some disconnected celebrity with 1 million passive scrollers. But listen, even if you have the perfect influencer, you still need the right content. The content funnel shows us how valuable, educational, and authentic content moves an audience along. It starts at awareness, builds interest, establishes trust, leads to conversion, and then ultimately creates advocacy. Notice that conversion is step 4. It's not step 1. Content marketing helps customers understand a problem and evaluate solutions without forcing an immediate sale down their throats. It's all about patience and adding genuine value at every single step of the way.
Which brings us to Act 3, decoding the digital consumer. Let's zoom all the way in to the individual level here.
Online behaviors largely boil down to what we call the big 3 drivers: trust, convenience, and social proof. You have to remember, digital consumers literally have endless alternatives just a single click away. If a brand fails at trust, or if it fails to offer convenience, or if it just lacks social proof, the consumer is going to simply abandon their cart and click right over to a competitor. Honestly, it's that ruthless out there.
To put it in practical terms for you, trust means reducing uncertainty. You earn it through things like visible secure payments, totally transparent return policies, and incredibly responsive customer service. Convenience, on the other hand, is all about speed and ease. If your website takes forever to load on a mobile phone, or if your checkout process requires filling out 3 pages of unnecessary forms, well, you are directly sabotaging both convenience and trust in one fell swoop. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds into the modern consumer journey. Take a look at this. It is highly non-linear. A customer might recognize a need, then go watch an influencer review, compare a few platforms, add an item to their cart, abandon it completely, see a retargeting ad 2 days later, and only then make the final purchase. Because online behavior is just so fragmented now, it requires really coordinated touchpoints across the entire timeline to gently pull that consumer back into your funnel. And you know what? Here is the absolute best part of operating in the digital age. We don't have to guess what the consumer wants. If carts are being abandoned, we use user research. We can run A/B testing, comparing 2 different digital designs to definitively see which one performs better. Or we can use usability testing, which is just the structured observation of real people trying to actually navigate our site. We can use hard, concrete, evidence-based data to constantly refine that trust and convenience.
All right, that brings us to our summary and key takeaways.
We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today. So here's what you really need to take away to operate with a true managerial perspective. First, digital marketing is a connected ecosystem. It's not just isolated tactics. Second, social media requires authentic, two-way conversations. No more just broadcasting advertisements. Third, when you're selecting influencers, prioritize audience fit and credibility over sheer follower count. Every time. And finally, digital consumer decisions are deeply driven by trust, convenience, and social proof. If you optimize for those 3 things, you are optimizing for success. To wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to chew on as you look at your own strategies. Are you measuring your digital marketing success by short-term vanity metrics, like mere likes and views? Or are you actively measuring the long-term trust and lifetime value generated by a highly strategic digital ecosystem? Really think about it, because the answer to that question kind of changes everything. Thanks so much for joining me to explore these frameworks today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.